you should probably expect spoilers. She might have told you that she thinks you're in really great shape, but don't be fooled. That wasn't a compliment. She just really wants to kill you. Who dat? It's Juri. Alright then, before we start, here's the deal. I have problems with most of the characters that were introduced during the Street Fighter 4 story arc. A lot of the choices Capcom made with designs and plot felt really bizarre and off target. I'm not a fan of these guys is what I'm saying, but before you lick shots, chill famalam. I'm a fair guy. There are chances to win me over. I'm not a complete unscalable brick wall about this type of thing. It just means these characters are going to have to put in some work, that's all. There are characters here who are going to have to work harder than others, but if you're looking for some early signs of optimism in all this, I can safely say that Juri has the best head start out of a lot of them. She ain't out of the woods yet though. I mean, sit tight for a second and we'll see how she does, innit? Don't count your Hadoukens before you've caught a circle punched. Okay, let's start with the backstory and see what's going on with her. Juri had trained in the style of Taekwondo during her teenage years. Her father was a lawyer who led prosecutions against organised crime syndicates and was exceptionally good at his job. His next big target was Shadaloo though, and you know how things go when you go up against Shadaloo, man, come on. Juri, her mother, and her father were kidnapped by Shadaloo, and during the ordeal, Juri lost both her parents. And if that wasn't enough, she also lost her left eye too. SIN, one of Shadaloo's side divisions, scooped up Juri and implanted the Feng Shui engine into her left eye socket. This implant boosts Juri's abilities to incredible levels, turning her into a powerhouse. It's worth noting that SIN by this point are kinda working on their own since the Shadaloo organization had fallen after its first major defeat. SIN's leader Seth is on some grand takeover shit now that Bison ain't around, and he sees Juri as a valuable asset to use. While at SIN, Juri did a lot of field work for Seth. She goes out to assassinate former SIN operatives in a public area, destroying the public area and the public in that area because she just don't give a fuck.
I just don't give a fuck.
Then Seth sends her out to capture Shadaloo's female assassin group, the Dolls, because he wants to experiment on them or something. So Juri handles that business too. Seth then ends up hosting a random global tournament so that he can attract the world's strongest fighters and gain data on them. During this tournament, he sends Juri in to participate for whatever reason, and she sees it as jolly good fun anyway, so she goes along with it. But then, Juri turns to Seth and says, I was just pretending, I don't actually like you, you're a dickhead. She leaves Seth and his crappy SIN organization to bite the dust at the hands of Shadaloo, Interpol, the military, the CIA, the Shotos, the ninjas, the tramps, and anybody else lining up around the block wanting to kick Seth in his lame shiny bald head. You can kind of tell that Seth's gonna have a rough time when I get around to reviewing him, innit? Poor boy. From that point onwards, Juri became a true free agent out in the big wide world, just doing her own thing. And whatever her own thing was, you knew damn well it was going to mean trouble for everybody else. Visual design. First things first, I love Juri's baggy trousers. Match that up with her extra long belt and she's got a sense of street style about her. It's very urban in appearance and it just loosens up her overall image nicely. For her undergarments, she's wearing fuchsia coloured tights, but due to the baggy trousers, we don't actually get to see much of them. They also just make me think of a certain little Scottish succubus from another Capcom fighting game, but regardless, they're still a welcome addition to her outfit and I like the tone of them. The colour on these tights pairs up with her fingerless gloves, which are then extended by dark purple sleeves that run further up her arm. For her torso, she wears a heavily customised dodio? Look, I'm butchering this pronunciation, but it's a type of Chinese lingerie, you get me? This top is designed with a strong spider motif in mind, as the straps trail around her body and meet on her back, displaying a dark purple and fuchsia spider design that would make Peter Parker bust web fluid. Lastly, her hair be looking like a Pulp Fiction Uma Thurman and two sweet potatoes hybrid. Make it work for your baby, innit? This hairstyle is wrapped up neatly with 4 circular hair clips that match the gloves. Looking at her full body shot, Juri connects all of these sections together fairly well, even leaving enough room to show some skin and not go overboard with it. The use of colours that swirl around within her design brings forth a somewhat toxic and poisonous air about her, which is fitting considering she takes joy in bringing death to those she targets. Juri has a nice design going for her that I can appreciate, and she feels mostly solid throughout her whole appearance, but there's just one tiny accessory on her that I always kinda notice, and I'm like, those spiky bracelets. I don't know, man, I just don't feel they mix in with everything else. Her torso and her long length gloves give Juri a young wicked elegance to her, while her long baggy trousers and loosely worn belt portray a somewhat laid back vibe to balance the top half. When this imagery is presented on a personality like Juri's, who is known for being chaotic, you've already got a perfect yin and yang vibe flowing with her, where the visuals are chilled but they're working in harmony with a crazy outlandish personality. It's balanced and it works. But then you've got these little pathetic spiked bracelets thrown in there to make sure everybody remembers she's supposed to be the edgy one. It's like, no. Just no, they come across as a joke. I can't take them seriously in context with the whole outfit. It's like Juri wanted to make herself look more menacing, so she went out to Hot Topic to buy some gothic shit, but didn't have enough cash, so she settled for the crappy clearance stock, you know what I mean?
Whatever.
Look, Chun-Li already has an elegant and free-flowing design accompanied by some prominently featured spiked bracelets, huge in size and yet charismatically engaging on the eyes. They work together with the items Chun-Li is already wearing, and there's a sense of genuine balance within her appearance. But Juri? Sorry sweetheart, I just don't feel those bracelets are working on you. You've already got everything else about your design firmly locked down. You don't need to be a tryhard. Wrapping up all of these things together in a complete package, Juri's appearance is actually pretty damn awesome, and for me personally, it is easily the best design out of any of the newcomers that she came in with. Street Fighter 4 has been known to have some great character designs cooked up during its concept development stages, only for those brilliant designs not to make it to the final game, but thankfully with Juri, I feel they brought the best design forward for her. Personality. Juri doesn't care about anybody else but herself. As far as she's concerned, she's the only thing that matters, and everybody else is just another toy to play with. Everyone is controllable, and everyone is expendable. In her book of Street Fighter fanfiction, she's the ultimate godmodder. Literally, by story canon, she has godmodded her way through a small chunk of the main cast already, all thanks to that implanted Feng Shui engine in her left eye. Once activated, her power gets boosted, and then everyone's fucked. Just look at her hit list so far. A team of SIN agents who went rogue? Bodybagged. Chun-Li, the strongest woman in the world? Bodybagged. Shadowlu's entire team of female assassins, the Dolls? Bodybagged. Guile? Bodybagged. Cammy? Bodybagged. Seth? One way or another, bodybagged. She's eating through them like a KFC chicken burger. Juri loves to fight, not because she sees it as a thrilling sport between two like-minded individuals, she just loves to fight because she loves to destroy things. She taunts her opponents, wanting them to lose their cool and get mad so her victory will feel even more rewarding. She wants to break everything about them, from their bones to their spirits. Juri enjoys nothing more than seeing you in pain and knowing it was all because of her that you ended up that way. And if your turmoil doesn't please her, she'll say she's bored with you now and leave to find someone else's life to ruin. You know, Juri, I was going to offer to take you out for a nice meal and then afterwards have a romantic stroll alongside the river somewhere with the stars and the moon sparkling above our heads. But on second thoughts, Chris Tucker.
We could have been a good couple. We could have had something special. But you one crazy ass bitch.
I actually do believe there is a reason for her madness though. You see, it can be interesting when two different characters go through similar ordeals and yet they turn out completely different from one another. What I mean by this is, what happened to Juri in her past is pretty much the same thing that happened to Chun-Li. Both were young martial artists, both had fathers working in the legal justice sector, with Chun-Li's father being a detective and Churi's father being a prosecutor. Both their fathers had hunted down Shadaloo, and both their fathers died because of it. But this is where things differ for the pair of them. Chun-Li went down the path of following justice, wanting to bring Shadaloo to its knees for the greater good of the world. Juri went down the path of following narcissism, wanting to bring Shadaloo to its knees for herself and only herself. Chun-Li wants to make sure nobody else comes to harm at the hands of Shadaloo. Juri doesn't care who gets hurt, as long as she gets what she wants. As time has gone on, Chun-Li never forgot what happened to her father, and it became the continued driving force behind a lot of her actions. Juri, on the other hand, doesn't even openly talk about her past, either because she locks it away behind her madness, or because in her pursuit of revenge, the madness took over and now she does what she does because it pleases her and nothing more. Either way, Juri's attraction to anarchy more than likely came to be because of the ordeal she went through, and not because she was born that way. So shut up your mouth, Lady Gaga.
Importance.
So it's clear to see that Juri is technically a criminal. I mean, blowing up an entire shopping center just to take out one guy with a machine gun is not just overkill, it's pretty much mass murder by that point. And we all know how Chun-Li hates criminals, so it's put Juri on Chun-Li's pathway. Juri doesn't hate Chun-Li though, she just finds it comical how the little Chinese lady with the ridiculously thick thighs keeps trying to chase her down. Juri even teases Chun-Li by referring to her obsessiveness as a schoolgirl crush. Yo, call it what you want, but if you two are gonna bang, can you give me a minute to boot up Marilis Action, cause I wanna screen cap this, boy! Then there's Cammy. These two actually do mutually hate each other. Cammy despises Juri for what Juri did to the dolls, mainly because Cammy used to be a part of that crew and she wanted to save her so-called sisters. Juri hates Cammy because even though Cammy might not remember all the sinful deeds she committed for Bison while she was a doll, it doesn't excuse the fact that those deeds were committed in the first place. You know, I was never quite sure how to take this scene actually. It suddenly seemed to feel too personal on Juri's behalf. Like, why on earth would Juri care whether Cammy answers for her crimes or not? Unless Cammy is in some way linked to Juri's past. Now that would be a plot twist, M. Night Shyamalan. Then there's Bison, who Juri is obviously going to hate because, you know, he murdered her family. That's a pretty legit reason to hate someone. Bison doesn't really care too much for Juri though. He doesn't seem to care too much for anybody, to be honest. But despite that, Juri is still out to get him, and therefore she's wrapped up in chasing the big bad of the Street Fighter series. Finally, there's Seth. He was Juri's boss for a while, but he was also a harmless sack of crap and she played him like a damn nipple. Fiddle. Right on, baby. Facing real facts here, Juri may be a newcomer to Street Fighter, but her canon story directly connects her to the current main antagonist and Bison. Then from there it further connects to those pursuing Bison, and since she sides with neither of these groups, she acts as a lone wolf. Juri hangs in from the sidelines and watches things unfold, manipulating events to her favour and then jumping in to have her fun. After just one major appearance, she's managed to cross paths with enough forefront characters to grab herself a seat on the forefront too.
Conclusion.
I think the Street Fighter universe needed a character like this. A real solo player who dances in between the warring sides of good and evil, slapping both of them as she passes just because it pleases her. And if that's just too empty and soulless, then there's a backstory to Juri that Capcom can call upon if ever they need to bring some deeper levels of emotion out from her. Either way, she's been integrated into the world pretty good without sticking out like a sore thumb, and she's got enough room to grow from here. In my opinion, for all the things that Street Fighter 4 got wrong design-wise, it seems like they got something right with Juri, and it shows. Out of all the brand new characters that were introduced during that series, Juri is the clear breakout star, and it's no surprise to me that we're going to see more of her in the future because of it.